Welcome back to Triple Alpha Sports Talk. I'm Josh. This is Bryce, and that's Roy. Hope everybody had a happy new year. Got some nice college football games out of the way.
First podcast of 2024.
Yep. Oh my God! Here we go.
Might as well start, baby.
Terrible way to start the podcast. Well, guess what? We're not talking about till later. We're going to kick it off with Week 17 of the NFL season. Thursday Night Football. Jets go to Cleveland and lose 20-37. Bryce, takeaways from Thursday night?
Yeah, Joe Flacco's still playing at a pretty high level. I thought maybe he would have toned down by now. Like we've seen some of these other backup quarterbacks come in, start off hot, like the Josh Dobbs, the Nick Mullins. Like they play good for a game and they come back to earth. He doesn't seem to be doing that. He's still playing pretty good, veteran quarterback back there. I think the Browns might have found their next big backfield running back with Jerome Ford. He looks amazing. Like imagine him and Chubb next year. It's going to be an unbelievable threat. He looked great. I think David Njoku is the most underrated tight end in the entire NFL. I mean, the guy's athletic. He's fast. He's strong. He's got amazing hands. He can run the ball without getting it takes two defenders to bring him down almost every time, it seems like. And I don't know if you guys saw the Houston Astros call it a stray joke.
Yes, they did. They deserved it too.
Yeah. I thought Josh would be happy about that.
Yes.
About the banging on the trash cans at the game.
Absolutely.
And then the last thing I had was the Moore injury. Did you guys see it?
They had injury.
That was horrible. You hate to see something like that happen. The movements that he was doing afterwards, you could see it was a brain injury. So we're just praying for him to be okay and hopefully be able to play football again,
Yeah. Roy, what are your takeaways from Thursday?
Man, my takeaways is just Cleveland keeps winning. I mean, it's a scary team. They don't play great, but they find a ways to win. I mean, you're 11-5 with a team with a lot of injuries, and Joe Flacco. I mean, he's got experience, so Joe Flacco's playing like a veteran. He's not trying to overdo anything that he needs to be done. He just knows he needs to come in there and just make some plays, and that's what they're doing. And it amazes me how this team just keeps winning and finding ways. Now let's give them some credit. I mean, they're playing the Jets, who was absolutely terrible, and they played the Bears, who was absolutely terrible. I mean, they're playing teams that were bad. So
this guy just talks shit about the Bears more than anybody ever knows.
Cleveland can just keep winning against these bad teams, these horrible franchises, and then winning in the playoffs. Then things might change. But hey, good for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, Joe Flacco, he's rolling right now. I mean, he's throwing. Him and Njoku have a good connection, and I don't think that their starter Deshaun Watson had that connection with him. You didn't hear a lot about David Njoku the first half.
The rapist,
but definitely have a connection there. And the Browns' defense is legit coming here late. Defense is what wins you football games, and that offense, they can be hit or miss at times, even with Joe Flacco. But that defense keeps them in every ball game. You have Myles Garrett, who's probably the best defensive player in football at this point, but. I'll tell you what, this wouldn't be a team I'd want to run into the playoffs because they got nothing to lose. This is Joe Flacco. They don't have their starting quarterback. They don't have their starting running back. They don't have half their defense. They got nothing to lose. If they go out and lose first round, who cares? That's probably what they were supposed to do. So they're going to play with no forgiveness, and they're not going to give a care what happens. And those are scary teams to play late in the season.
Yeah.
I think that'll take us on to Saturday, what was really a Monday Night Football special when the Lions went to Dallas. A little controversy there at the end. Roy, I'll let you talk about what you want to talk about in this game
Well, obviously, you got to talk about how the Lions got screwed out of that win against the Cowboys. I mean, great game. I thought both teams played very well. CeeDee Lamb is hard to guard. I mean, I don't think anybody in the NFL right now can get him on Dallas. But Dallas doesn't look like they're unbeatable. So I think that Detroit went into Dallas, played their best game they could. Should have came out of there with a win. I'm not even going to say bad reffing. It's NFL refs are just piss poor all year. So, but no, hey, the Lions proved that they can match up. I really thought Lions would kind of fold when they got down, and I just didn't think it'd have it. But hey, they stayed in it, and I'm surprised, and the surprised that they did, and I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that they should not be surprised to be looking forward in the playoffs because both teams are good, and I'd say I wouldn't want to play either one of them right now.
Yeah, to me, I felt like the Lions and the Lions and the Cowboys, I felt like the Cowboys played a much better game and then just couldn't finish things off. I didn't think the Lions played all that great, but since the Cowboys were playing bad, they stayed in the game.
Yeah.
You know, they had the CeeDee Lamb fumble through the end zone, which I think is the most bogus rule in all of football, because if it would have went out 1 yard shorter, they would have been on the 1 yard line. But instead, it's a touchback to the other team. If that doesn't go out of bounds, they're probably at 14-3 at half, and we know the Lions aren't a good come from behind team. So they came into the half 7-3 instead of 14-3, and they can still run the ball like they want to. And then the other thing that I thought was the controversy at the end. Obviously, that shouldn't happen. But for Jared Goff, of all people, to be blaming a call is unbelievable. Because I don't know if you guys recall the Saints game from a few years ago where someone got his clock clean and they didn't call PI. I don't want to hear that guy complain about a call ever. It sent him to a Super Bowl. So that's one thing about the controversy. But then again, I like going for the wins in situations like that. But after you get that controversy, kick the field goal and go into overtime.
Yeah, they should have kicked the field goal or kicked the extra point.
Doing that, it doesn't make sense to me. Just send the game to overtime, trying to win.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anything about this controversy call because guess what? He didn't report his eligible. He did report his eligible. Everybody knows that he did go over there to report. You know, that's why he walked over there. But they didn't announce it. Cowboys did not cover him because of that. That's why he was wide open. Okay, every other player on the entire field is covered. If you take a look at the screenshot, I don't care about that either. The play before or the drive before, Cowboys, Peyton Hendershot gets called for a tripping call on Aiden Hutchinson. Doesn't even stick his foot out. Aiden Hutchinson does not trip. Why the play was called a tripping call is beyond me. Adam Schefter showed it on ESPN special. Shouldn't even been a call. Lions have never got the ball back. Doesn't matter. That last play never ends. So I don't really want to hear anything about it because shouldn't even have been there in the first place. Yeah, Cowboys didn't play great. But one thing I was worried about as a Cowboys fan was the run game of the Lions. They didn't really run the ball that well. I mean, they had a few good runs, but they didn't run the ball all over Dallas like Buffalo did or like the Niners did. Another thing, like you said, Roy, CeeDee Lamb is just on another planet right now.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely top 5 wide receiver in the league right now. I mean, this season, he's only behind Tyreek Hill in yards, and he just broke the single-season receptions and yardage for the Cowboys. And the Cowboys have had some real all-time great receivers, so that should tell you how special the season was.
I mean, I would say CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown are both in that top 5 category.
St. Brown's right up there with them.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But at the time of this game was before another game. To me, this game didn't have a whole lot of scenario difference. The Cowboys probably weren't going to win the NFC East, and the Lions would have had a hard time jumping over the Eagles or the Niners. So they would have been locked into a 3 seed. But based on what happens later in the week, this game had a lot of meaning. And I agree with you. After the controversy call, there's no way that you should be going for 2 that. And I even understood it a little bit more when Micah Parsons jumped off sides on the second attempt at it, and they moved up to like the 3.5, I think it was.
Yeah.
But from the 2 to the 7, from the 7-yard line to go for it, I mean that's just risky at that point. I don't care if it has anything, but I get it. You're down 1. I get the idea, but still, that's a little weird. Into that game. All right, that'll take us into Roy's game of the week, where the New England Patriots went to Buffalo and lost 21-27. Roy, your game of the week. What'd you get from it?
Well, Josh Allen did not play very well. I just thought Josh Allen wasn't around. For a Patriots team that's just absolutely terrible. But they seem to play the Bills tough. They beat them earlier in the year. They just seem to have, for some reason, want to play the Bills and want to beat them. And the Bills just did not look that good offensively. If it wasn't for their defense, a couple picks and then one with a pick 6, I mean, then it's a different ballgame. So the Bills had to rely on their defense, who's got a lot of injuries on it. That defense did show up when it needed to, but I was highly disappointed in how that offense. I really thought Buffalo's offense was starting to roll, but Josh Allen 50% from the passing attempts and 1 interception, fumbled the ball a couple times. He didn't look good back there, and maybe because the Patriots. I mean, Bill Belichick is a defensive guy, and he knows how to play. And when you see a guy several times like he has over the years, maybe they have his number, but I just was disappointed how Buffalo really played. But hey, they got the win, kept them in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember if you guys remember this from last week, but I said that this was going to be a closer game than what you guys said because I think that the Bills are one of the best teams in the league, but they play to the skill level of their opponents. It seems like they don't come out ready for bad teams. They keep them around, and then at the end they try to show up and beat them. When they play against good teams, it seems like they come out and play, and they look like the best team in the league all of a sudden because they're playing the best teams in the league. There's no reason that you should have 20 turnovers in the first half and not blow a team out by 40 when you're as good as the Bills are. And I don't know what it is, if it's coaching, if it's just mentality of the team, but they need to come out ready to play against every team, especially going into the playoffs. And the Patriots, they're going to have to draft a quarterback this year. I think that I don't ever see Mac Jones coming back. I don't know if you guys do or not.
No.
But Bailey Zappi is not a starting quarterback in this league. I hate to say it for Patriots fans.
No.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots offense looks horrible, and they still put up points on the Bills. And I see them, they're going to give up a lot to go for that number one spot, probably to try and take Caleb Williams over maybe the Commanders, who are also going to be pushing for a quarterback. So big offseason coming for the Patriots, in my opinion.
Who their coach is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like you guys just said, New England, they just have no quarterback play this entire season. Bailey Zappi and Mac. I don't understand how Mac Jones isn't the guy right now, but I think they're just kind of tanking at this point. I really do. I don't think they're trying to win a whole lot. I'll tell you what, Buffalo looks good. They look bad. Stephon Diggs has not been in this offense in 6 weeks. I mean, he has been non-existent. He hasn't scored a touchdown in like 5 weeks. They don't utilize him ever since they went on that losing streak for a while where he was phenomenal. Flip the script. I'll tell you what, Stephon Diggs is not a player that you do not want to incorporate into your offense. And I'll tell you what, if I'm Stephon Diggs, I'm looking for a new home next year because the Bills probably don't end up winning the Super Bowl anyway. And you're not getting utilized. I think that might be time to jump ship here soon. But the Bills do hang on to win, and it sets up a winner-take-all game in Miami next week for the division.
Yep.
And if you would have asked me about a month and a half ago if the Bills would be playing to win the division, I would say you're crazy. But good for them to turn it on when they did. I know the National Football League can get injuries and get hard sometimes, but a win's a win, and they've piled up some good wins here. So they've played themselves to put themselves into either miss the playoffs if they lose, possibly, or to be a 2 seed. So very big range of spots for them. But I think that'll take me to my game of the week, and that'll be the Arizona Cardinals going to Philly and shock the world and win 35-31. I'll go first. The Eagles blow it. I mean, they're up big at half. Cardinals had 4 drives in the second half. Touchdown, 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 touchdown. I mean, it just can't happen. That Eagles defense has slowly became their problem, if you ask me. I know their offense hasn't scored a whole lot of points. They still put up 31 points. I mean, you score 31 points in the National Football League, you probably win the football game, especially if you think you're a contender like that. But the Eagles defense is definitely the problem for me right now. And the Eagles have lost all their momentum that they started off, 9-0, 9-1?
I think they went 11
or 11. Yeah, I mean, they've lost all of it. They don't feel like a team that scares you anymore. You want to play. And they've also lost all their home field advantage stuff. Even though they might not have been a 1 seed, Eagles have lost all their momentum and their home field advantage. Now they don't even control their own destiny to win a division when they had a 3-game lead early in the year. So, and my other takeaway from the Cardinals, I mean, I think Kyler Murray, since he's came back from injury, has solidified that he's the guy. He kind of talked about the Cardinals being one of the worst teams in football this season. And, maybe them taking a shot at Caleb Williams after already paying Kyler Murray that big contract a few years ago. I think he's proved that he's still the guy because he doesn't have that many weapons outside. He lost DeAndre Hopkins. So good for the Cardinals. They don't have that QB controversy anymore.
Yeah, I just see the Eagles. It's one of the biggest downfalls I've ever seen in a season. They have completely fallen apart. They can't win games, and they're losing to the worst teams in the league now. And I don't know what the issue is. It seems like they still just seem slow, like they don't want to play anymore. They have nothing to play for. It's like they went to the Super Bowl last year and they felt like they needed to come out, win a Super Bowl this year to redeem themselves, and felt that way for the first 12 weeks, and then was like, all right, we're going to the Super Bowl, and just quit trying to win games. Like, they just got comfortable and just quit showing up for games, and I don't understand why that is. I feel like that's something a coach has to do. I mean, this all started after they beat the Chiefs, and the coach screamed at the Chiefs fans in the tunnel. It's been going down ever since then. So maybe there's some coaching issues and getting his players ready to go out and play each week. I don't understand why the Eagles are playing so bad right now.
I think it's the defense is not playing very well. I think they do look tired. And like you said, they had a 21-6 lead at halftime. I mean, that should have been nothing.
Yeah.
But, the second half also, I mean, Jalen Hurts didn't do anything. I mean, it's a combination, in my opinion, on the offensive side, is the offensive line is not doing their job, but they have been done in the past, and Jalen Hurts is not doing his job. I think he's not looked very well. I mean, I think they're running him more than they should. I mean,
I agree.
They got two good running backs in Swift and Gainwell. Why don't you use them more? I mean, they had 15 carries between the two of them, and then you run Jalen Hurts 8 times. I mean, I think they're trying to put too much on Jalen Hurts throughout the year, and he's starting to wear down, and that's been a big problem. But then that's hurting the defense, because when you're going 3 and out or shorter drives, that defense is on the field all the time, and that's happened a lot here lately for them. And I just feel like that the Eagles are just. I think it's a coaching issue. That guy is kind of weird, kind of odd. Their head coach.
Well, he's different.
Yeah, he's just not when he's just not a typical head coach type guy. But I mean, he's a good coach. He gets them to win. I just think the problem is right now they're overusing Jalen Hurts, and their offensive line needs to pick it up, because Kyle Murray in the first half wasn't doing crap, and then in the second half he woke up, and the Eagles weren't driving the ball anywhere. They weren't doing crap in the second half offensively, and Kyle Murray was just running around. He was able to do what he wants. But then they also got back to running the ball. James Conner's a hell of a running back, and they gave him the ball finally a lot. 26 carries for 128 yards. I mean, that's what in football, if you can run the ball, your quarterback gets a lot easier. So you can come back there and throw. And that's the difference between the game was Cardinals could run, the Eagles could not. And if the Eagles want to win the Super Bowl or get back to there, they're going to have to find a way just to run the ball.
Yeah. I think that'll take us over to Bryce's game of the week, where the Bengals go to Burrowhead, Browninghead. It was Arrowhead this week. They lose 17-25. Bryce?
Yeah, I mean, I picked the Chiefs last week, and I'm going to pick them again this week. I think that they're on a downfall, and I know they won this week, but they won against a hurt Bengals team with Browning at quarterback, and I don't think Jamar Chase is 100% healthy, really, or at least looked maybe a little bit slower for me this week. But the Chiefs still, their offense just doesn't look like it's like they have anything going. I mean, Rice had a few big plays, but other than that, they double-team Travis Kelce, and no one else can get open and catch the ball. I think Travis Kelce had one target the first half and didn't have a catch. I mean, he's probably a top 5 tight end of all time, and he has one target in the first half. What are you doing? Like, get him the ball. I understand he's double-teamed, but if he's double-teamed, someone else should be open. And then once other people start getting open, get Travis Kelce the ball. Their defense has been keeping them in the games all year long. And if their offense doesn't pick up, I don't see them winning playoff games like this. I understand defense wins games, but if you don't have an offense to score at all, it's going to be hard to win in playoff games, in my opinion. And I don't see them as the Super Bowl contender that they have been in the past few years. So,
yeah, I just think their defense is playing really well. They didn't allow a point in the second half. And the Bengals, without Joe Burrow, have still, had a somewhat decent offense with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Mixon back there. It's just Burrow that's gone. And Browning's played well. But so that tells me the Chiefs' defense is, they're going to have a few games here or there that they give up some points. But that's a pretty good defense out there. And they already locked up a home playoff game. So, they're going to be in the mix of it. They're going to have to go up against one of those good teams in the AFC, maybe Baltimore. But they're going to have to score. And, I agree. That offense is just – to me, it seems like they don't turn it on until it's like you do or die. You have to turn it on. and then they kind of speed up the offense a little bit, maybe some no huddle, and they get going a little bit. They get that field goal, they get that touchdown, and they squeak by. But man, I don't know, that offensive line still looks bad. I mean, they cannot block at all, and I'm starting to see it, man. I don't know if the Chiefs have it this year because they used to be able to just, we need a point, let's go get it. I don't know if they can do that anymore right now. They can't just, hey, we need a touchdown, 2-minute drive, go score. I mean, I'm never going to count Patrick Mahomes out because he's the best quarterback in the NFL, basically. But that offense really has issues, and that's concerning. And on the Bengals side, they just missed Joe Burrow. I mean, the rest of the offense is healthy for the most part. That defense has struggled, but they're still the Bengals. But, yeah, I mean, they just missed Joe Burrow. It really shows that he was worth all the contract. And Roy's take last couple weeks about maybe Browning was the guy. I think that's pretty much been put to sleep. So we can move on from that.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I agree. Jake Browning's coming back down. He's not playing the way he's supposed to. I mean, playing. But, I mean, the Bengals don't look as good as they did a couple weeks ago either. Jamar Chase, I agree. He does not look like Jamar Chase running his routes like he normally does. And Joe Mixon doesn't look that good either to me. I think that Chase, I hate to say it, I think Chase Brown looks better, and I don't think they use him as much as they should.
Yeah, Chase Brown does look amazing in my opinion.
He does look better, and I think they should use him a lot more. But
he was our best player, so makes sense.
I mean, yeah. But Kansas City, it is their line. I mean, their defense is keeping them in every game they possibly can. Cincinnati scored most of their points first half from a turnover and some bad, some drops, some stupid things that their receivers did. Patrick Mahomes looks like Patrick Mahomes. I thought he was slowing down, but this week I felt like he was throwing the ball way better than he had been, and I thought he was doing way better than what he's been. The problem is they were trying to push the ball down the field. Is what they were trying to do. They're trying to learn, get these kids, because they're going to have to do that in the playoffs. Yeah. And I thought Rice looked a lot better than he had. They might as well bench and drop Marquise Valdez-Scantling because he is absolutely shit. Just dropping from the roster. He's crap. Justin Watson he made a great one catch, and that was a good catch, but he had two good drops. Travis Kelce just looks slow. He's too busy, whatever he's doing with Taylor Swift, and needs to get his ass away from her and just start because his routes look slow. Even when he catches it, he used to be able the guy that you couldn't take down. He just goes down now. I mean, that's not Travis Kelce. I mean, I know he's in his early 30s or whatever, but
he doesn't look like he cares whenever he catches the ball anymore.
I just feel like I feel like he's got emotion. It's just in the wrong spots. He's wanting everybody else to make plays when he used to be the guy to make plays.
Yeah, I feel like that becomes pretty common, though, in teams that, like the Chiefs. They've been in the playoffs so many years in a row. They've always been like that 1 or 2 seed. After a while, I mean, you kind of know, okay, we're going to be in the playoffs. Like, I don't really have to go, 110%. So I see what you guys are saying, but I also, after a while,
I think he's also – you got to think. He's the man now because he used to have Tyreek Hill, all these other guys that, I mean, remember everybody used to rave about the running backs they've had all these years. He's never had to be the guy. Well, now he has to be the guy, and that's just I mean, he's getting double teamed. He's having to work a little harder, and it's just when you're the problem is when you got a line as bad as they do, and Patrick Mahomes has not much time to throw the ball. You've got to get in your routes, get in there and get open. And he's not doing that well enough. And that's killing their drives. And he's got to wake up. I'm still not going to count him out because they still got Patrick Mahomes and he still can make plays. He made some plays with his feet and that's what he does. And he's still an amazing quarterback and I don't count him out yet.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, I think we're going to see Darnell Mooney as a Kansas City Chief next year. I mean,
they'll buy budget low wide receivers at this point.
He's not going to be on the team next year as much as I love him. He's going to be.
I mean, they're going to have to address the offensive line at some point. I mean,
I agree.
They got some young priced kids, on the receivers and the running back situation, but they're going to have to. I mean, the defense is good. They're going to have to figure out their budget on the defense because they got some guys like Jones and them who just came back on 1-year deals. That's just going to hurt them. So they're going to be looking for draft. I think they may be trading guys to get some draft picks because they may have to
Yeah.
try getting some young guys like that.
All right, I think that'll take us into Sunday Night Football, where the Green Bay Packers went into Minnesota and won 33-10. I didn't really take a whole lot away from this. The Vikings just have had no quarterback play. I really am surprised by the difference Josh Dobbs has had from Arizona to Minnesota. I mean, it felt like a quick leash. What, he played 2 games maybe and got pulled? But
yes,
I don't know. They
Just
just
played like 2 good games
Yeah.
and then had a third.
I mean, their quarterback play has just been pretty much abysmal ever since Kirk Cousins left. I mean, Jordan Love played great, but again, Minnesota has not been that team this year that's really jumped off the page to me. So I'll take that with a grain of salt. And like the QB, it's just a lost season for Minnesota at that point. Once Cousins went down, you pretty much knew that team wasn't going to go win a Super Bowl. So I think it's just a combination of a lot, but just kind of a lost season.
Yeah, I agree. They had Nick Mullins starting and then pulled him, I think, halfway through the game or put him back in after they didn't start him. I mean, they're on like their 5th quarterback of the year. So it's hard to win a game if you have your 5th string quarterback playing. So
I'll give it up to Minnesota. I mean, they were in the playoff hunt until here just this week. I mean, they were right there with some with bad quarterback play. But the Packers, I mean, I don't know. Jordan Love just comes one game, plays the hell out of it, and then the next game doesn't look very good. I mean, he's a young, streaky guy, but Aaron Jones ran the ball well. Packers aren't. I mean, they're a decent team. They're not anything that's going to make any much noise, but hey, they're not. It's not like they're still like 1 or 2 players away from being a pretty damn good football team.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to take us into our picks for next week. And before I do that, I'm going to go over our picks from this past week because we're starting to get down to a crunch here and everything matters. So in week 17, Bryce finished in last place at 10-6. Roy was 1 game better than him at 11-5, and I was 1 game better than that at 12-4, winning the week. Overall, Roy leads at 64-42. Bryce is 1 game behind him at 63-43, and I'm 3 games behind Roy, 2 games behind Bryce. So we're all right there. And we'll do this through the playoffs. So, it's not like this is the last week, but this is the last week to really make some ground if we have different opinions. And then I guess that'll just jump us right into our picks. We get pulled up.
We start Saturday.
Yep. Start Saturday. Steelers go to the Ravens. Bryce, what do you got?
Give me the Ravens. I know they probably don't have a whole lot to play for. They already locked up the number 1 seed, but I think the Steelers just also don't have anything to play for, and they aren't very good. So,
Roy, what do you got?
Yeah, Steelers have a chance. They could be in the playoffs. The Steelers will play everything they got. I think it'll be the Steelers because the Ravens already are going to sit players. I don't think Jamar Jackson will even play. So I'm going to take the Steelers.
Yeah. It just depends on who sits and how good the Ravens look. But I don't care. I don't like the Steelers. Give me the Ravens still, just in case they do play. Texans go to the Colts, and this one's got big playoff implications. Winner probably gets in. I think the winner does get in. And I think the loser has a very slim chance to get in.
Both of them could still get in.
Yeah. Oh, it's possible, but I think the loser really loses their chance to make sure they're in.
Jackson will lose.
Yeah. Right. Or Roy, I'll let you start with this one. What do you got?
I am going to go with the Colts since it's home. I'm going to say I think the Texans will play their butts up, but I'm going to go with the Colts.
I'm not. I think that the Texans will go into Indianapolis and they'll get a win out of them. I think that they're just a better team, and both playing at 100%, they're going to beat the Colts.
I'm also going to take the Colts with you, Roy. I think the Texans, really their strong suit is throwing the ball. That is also the Colts' strength is their coverage. So I'm going to take the Colts at home. That leads us into Sunday, where the Jaguars go to Tennessee, where the Jaguars have kind of skid a little bit. If they win this, they win the division. If they lose, I don't think they win the division. I think the winner of the other game gets it. But I'll go first on this one. I still think the Jaguars come into Tennessee like we saw last year, and I think they win that game.
Yeah, just like we saw last year, I think the Jaguars will handle the Tennessee pretty well.
Titans are bad, so I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Vikings go into Detroit, and the Lions I don't think have anything to play for. I think they have officially locked the number 3 seed. But the Vikings, like we just said, are really low on quarterback. I am still going to go with the Lions here.
Yeah, I agree with Josh.
I'm going to go Lions, yeah.
Falcons go to New Orleans, and this one has some playoff implications. They both need the Bucs to lose, but the winner of this definitely has a better chance. And I'll go first on this one again. The Falcons have looked piss poor here the last few weeks. Give me the Saints.
I agree with Josh. The Falcons just have no quarterback play, and they can't score the ball with like 4 amazing weapons on the offense. So give me the Saints.
Yeah, give me the Saints. I mean, it's bad when you bench the starting quarterback to put Ritter in, who threw, I think, 3 interceptions. I mean, just Saints. Just give me the Saints.
Yeah. Probably game of the week here. The New York Jets go to Foxborough, play New England. Man, this one's going to be a good one. Roy, I'll let you take this fascinating game first.
Jeez. I'm going to go with the Jets. I just think Patriots are bad. Actually, you know what? Change that. I'm going to go Patriots because this will be Bill Belichick's last
Stick with your gut, Roy.
No, I'm going to go Patriots just because Belichick's going to be last game. They're going to win it for him.
All right, I'm also taking the Patriots because they've been putting up numbers recently, but Trevor Siemian is the worst quarterback I think I might have ever seen in my life.
I'm 3 games.
I'm 3.
He's a Bears legend.
Oh, excuse me. I'm 3 games back. I got to take my chances. Give me the Jets. Maybe Breece Hall catches fire. I'll take the Jets. Buccaneers go to Carolina, play the Panthers. Give me the Bucs. They're going to lock up that number 4 seed.
I agree with Josh. The Bucs.
I mean, what is it? Bryce Young is hurt, so he won't be playing.
That
was the only hope they had.
You know who their backup is.
Oh, the Red Rocket.
I hate that guy.
I will go
with Bucs. Okay.
I will go with the Bucs. Jeez.
I got a picture of me and Andy Dalton like 5 feet apart. Was just at a punching distance.
Browns go to Cincinnati, a little Cleveland, or not Cleveland, little Ohio battle, but give me the Browns.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to take the Browns. Their defense is just rolling, and Joe Flacco's playing great right now.
Yeah.
I think the Browns have the 5 seed locked, right? No matter what.
Yeah, they clinched.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a lock at the 5, but I know they've clinched the playoffs, yes. So you could be right. I just don't know for sure.
Give me the Browns. I agree. I don't think the Bengals have enough to do it.
This week gets hard because you don't know who's sitting and all that. And so Bears go to the Packers. Packers fighting for their playoff lives. Bears have officially been eliminated. Packers have something to play for at home. Give me the Packers.
I know you might think the Bears don't have anything to play for, but eliminating the Packers is something to play for. And we're not going to lose 2 games. We're going to go up to Lambeau, kick the shit out of Jordan Love. He's going to throw 3 interceptions because he's actually going to have a defense that's fully healthy against him this time that has a pass rush with Montez Sweat. And Justin Fields is going to put up 4 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 rushing. Mark it down. Bears, W.
No. Packers will win. It'll be Jordan Love, the new discount double check guy. It's going to own the Bears. It's just not. The Bears should maybe sit there on the sidelines, take notes on what a real organization can do to win, and maybe they'll actually turn around.
Justin Fields, stupidest shit.
Justin Fields will have 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions and a fumble. Write that down.
Yeah. Cowboys go to Washington. Cowboys still got something to play for. They win. They lock up the 2 seed. Give me the boys.
Yeah, Cowboys are trying to lock in that spot to play against Seattle after the Bears beat the Packers. So, give me the boys.
Well, let's see. Are the Cowboys blind? Because I think that's the only team the Commanders could probably beat. So I will take the Cowboys because the Washington Commanders suck.
Broncos go to Vegas. Little division matchup. Both teams eliminated. I'm going to roll with the Raiders. They haven't played well, but they've at least had the same group the last few weeks. And I'll tell you what, the Broncos quarterback situation is confusing to say the least to me. So give me the Raiders.
Who is starting? Do you know?
It's Stringham or whatever. He did a great job.
Yeah, give me the Raiders.
I agree. Give me the Raiders. The Russell Wilson benching thing is weird to me.
Give me the Broncos. I thought Stringham or whatever his name is did a good job, and I think he'll have a decent day.
Eagles go to New York, and I don't care how bad they're playing. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles, even though I really don't want to, but give me the Eagles.
Eagles.
Seahawks go to Arizona. Division matchup, it's closer than most people will think, but the Seahawks, they don't control their destiny, but they still have their own ability to get in. So give me Seattle.
Yeah, give me Seattle. I want to see the rematch between the boys in Seattle after the Bears beat the Packers.
Quit bringing up the damn Bears. They fucking suck. Give me the freaking Seahawks.
Six-game home win streak. I mean, they're on a roll. Watch out for them next year.
Rams go to Niners. Roy, what you got in this one?
Chicago fan.
Roy, what do you got in this one? Rams go to the Niners.
I'll take the Niners.
Yeah, I think you have to pick the best team in football every week, the Niners.
I'm going to take the Rams in this one. They have something to play for, and the Niners have locked up the 1 seed. McCaffrey's already been ruled out. I wouldn't be surprised if more of them are out at that point. Give me the Rams. Chiefs go to SoFi to play the Chargers. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Chiefs. The Chargers they don't look good.
Chiefs.
And then game of the week, winner takes all the division. Dolphins have locked the playoff spot. The Bills could get left out if certain things happen. Bills go to Miami for the division. Bryce, I'll let you kick this one off. What do you got?
I'm going to take the Bills in this one. I've been saying it. They play to their skill level. They're going to come out hot, and they're going to be putting on points on the Dolphins.
I'm taking the Bills. They have to win. I mean, they know they'll get the playoffs. They want it. I think Miami doesn't. I think Miami's not been playing that well. So I'm going to take the Bills.
Roy, we lost you.
Can you not hear me?
Oh, you're back. You just cut out now. That's fine. I am also going to go with the Bills because the Dolphins have lost both their star pass rushers for the season with injuries. So I will take the Bills as well. So I think that's going to do it for our picks. Now we're going to go off and do some playoff scenarios. So we kind of went over a few of them when we were talking. Roy, is there any playoff scenarios that you want to talk about first?
Well, I think the most intriguing one is in my opinion, is probably the Tennessee, Houston, Jacksonville.
Okay.
Because Jacksonville, it's weird because if the Bills lose and Jacksonville lose, then I think the Jacksonville gets in. It's something like that.
Okay, so say the one that you want to talk about the most. You said that division. What are the teams?
Jacksonville,
Jacksonville,
Houston, Indianapolis.
Jacksonville wins the AFC South with a win. Plain and simple. They win the ball game, they win the division. Or if they tie and Indy and Houston tie, very unlikely. So we're going to skip that. So Jacksonville wins, they win the division. They would also, or if they lose, they would also clinch a playoff berth if they tie and Pittsburgh loses or ties, or Houston and Indy does not end in a tie, Denver loses or ties, and Pittsburgh loses. All three of those things. So kind of messy with some ties in there. But I think the most possible situation if Jacksonville was to lose the game would be Pittsburgh loss, Denver loss, and then as long as Houston and Indy don't end in tie, then they still get in. So it's possible. The rest are real neat ties and probably don't want to touch. So if Jacksonville loses, the winner of the Colts and the Houston game wins the division. So that game would be for the division.
Yeah.
And then Indy clinches it with a win and Jacksonville loss. And then the other ones with ties. And Indy wins it with a win and a Jacksonville loss. So also to note, Indianapolis will clinch a playoff berth with a win, or if they tie and Pittsburgh loses. So it's real messy over here with ties.
Yeah, which is rare that a tie happens. But
exactly.
I just think that, I mean, if you got the best part is Pittsburgh plays in like the Saturday game. So if they win, so that puts a lot of pressure on, the Colts, the Jacksonville, and everybody else to win.
The Colts and Houston, they have to go into the game. They play on Saturday. Jacksonville doesn't play till Sunday. So Houston and Indy, they got to go in saying this is for the division because they won't know if Jacksonville's won or not. For Houston to make the playoffs, if Houston wins their game against Indy, I did not say this the first time, I'm sorry. If Houston wins, no matter what Jacksonville does, they will get in. The Colts are also in that situation. So the winner of that game will make the playoffs. Yes. I did miss that. And then after that, all of them have to do with ties. So that game is for a playoff spot. And then if Jacksonville loses on Sunday, it ended up being for a division. So, and a home playoff game. The other one.
So if Buffalo loses, they're no matter what, they're out?
Buffalo looks like they're going to get in, but there is a world where they don't. Buffalo clinches a playoff berth with a win, they would win the division. With a loss, Pittsburgh has to lose. If Pittsburgh loses, they're in. If Jacksonville loses, Buffalo's in. Or if Houston and Indy tie, they're in. Any of those. Not all those together. So if Pittsburgh or Jacksonville lose, Buffalo is in, no matter what the outcome is. And Miami is already in, so they don't have to worry about it.
Miami's already in.
And then I could go over the Pittsburgh one, but Pittsburgh needs help. They need to win, and a couple other teams to lose. So that one is messy.
So where do you guys see it happening? Who's in? Who's out? And where's it at?
I think we all agreed that we thought Jacksonville was going to beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I think Tennessee, or excuse me, Jacksonville wins the division. I think we all agreed on Buffalo winning.
Yeah.
So we all think Buffalo's going to win the division and get in, and Miami's already in. So it really just comes down to that Houston and
I said Houston.
Yeah. So I think we're just a little tossed up there, but because then on the AFC side you would have Baltimore at the 1.
Yes.
I believe Buffalo at the 2. If they win, Buffalo becomes the 2 seed, I believe.
Or unless Kansas City wins.
Yeah, that one could. But 2 and 3, Buffalo and Chiefs, or Miami and Chiefs. Even if we're wrong, but that's 2 and 3. 4 would be the
Miami.
No, Jacksonville. They'd be the South. You're right.
Because they'd be the South.
And then we all agree that
Cleveland's the 5.
Correct. We all think Miami will be a wild card due to the Buffalo loss in our eyes. And then the last team is the Colts or the Houston winner, whoever gets in. So I think the only thing we really have up for big debate between us is who gets in over Houston and the Colts on the AFC side.
Who gets in? If the Colts, with that winner of that, either one of those games, they win, right? They're in. If they win.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. So we have Baltimore in. We both have Buffalo and Miami in. So that's 3 teams. Mm-hmm. Chiefs are in.
Cleveland.
Jacksonville is in. Cleveland is in. Winner of the Colts game and Houston. That's 7. That's your 7 teams. We had, like he said, Houston, correct? And me and you picked Indy. Roy.
So, I mean, with Indy being home, I think they got it. So I think that's the one. That'll be the playoff scenario you're going to see.
Yeah, and then we can jump over to the NFC side because I think the NFC side has a little bit more confusion because there's multiple teams that can get in and out versus just seedings almost. Start very simple. Dallas goes to the 2 seed if they win. And then that locks in Philly at the 5 because they would have the best wildcard record. If Dallas loses, you assume Philly wins anyway. Then Philly would go up to the 3 seed and Detroit would go up to 2. But I think we're all in agreement that Dallas is going to beat Washington. Yeah. So then you're going to have the top 4 seeds pretty much locked in.
Well, the 4th seed will not because it's Tampa. It's Tampa or the Saints.
Yeah, but Tampa plays Carolina.
True.
Tampa has to lose. I think we're all in agreement.
Maybe Firecrotch will get a big.
You never know.
He's throwing a touchdown to Adam Thielen.
I think we can all agree that we pretty much see it as 49ers, Dallas, Detroit, Tampa. Top 4. And then at 5, it's going to be Philly. And then 6 and 7 is where it becomes tricky in the NFC.
Well, 6 is already the Rams. The Rams are in, according to this.
The Rams have locked a spot. I think they can still finish at 7, but the Rams are in. You're correct.
And then 7 will be the Seahawks.
Seahawks
will be the
or
Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay. Green Bay gets in with a win. They get in with a. I don't want to talk about ties because I think we're all in agreement. We're not going to assume a tie happens.
No. So they're in with a Seattle loss, I see. Or
Correct. A Seattle loss and a Minnesota loss. They also get in. Where is? Oh, right here. Green Bay wins or Green Bay tie and Seattle lose. They also get in. And then on Seattle, they need a loss. Seattle clinches a berth with a win and a Green Bay loss. So Tampa Bay gets in with a win, very simple. And the Saints get in with a win and a Tampa Bay loss. Yep, pretty simple.
So Tampa Bay most likely.
Tampa Bay is most likely going to get in. Wow. But so I'll ask you this, Roy. Who do you think gets in on the NFC side? We all agreed Dallas, Detroit, 49ers, Bucks, because we all assume the Bucks are going to win.
Yeah.
Rams, Eagles. Who do you have as the last one?
The Packers. They're playing the pitiful Bears. I mean, it'll be easy.
I also agree that the Packers are going to win that game and get in. Bryce, so you think?
I think Seattle is going to get in.
Okay, and that would make Seattle the 7 seed.
Yes.
If
they're only a 7 seed if the Packers lose.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's how Seattle gets in. So we assume in that scenario the Packers did lose, but they would. I want to say that I don't know if that makes Green Bay because if the Rams lose this week, I know they own the tiebreaker over Seattle because they've played them twice and beat them twice. I don't know about the Packers. I don't think the Packers can get in unless they're the 7 seed though.
Yeah.
So.
The 7th seed will be Seattle or Green Bay.
Maybe the Rams have locked up the 6 seed. Maybe I am wrong on that.
They're 9-7. I mean, they got the clinch. So
I don't even see the Rams on here. It says clinch playoff berth. It doesn't say seedings, but I can tell you.
I would say that if they win, I mean,
if we all think the Bucks win, Cowboys win, Eagles win, Lions win, doesn't matter. If the Rams lose to the Niners, Seattle win, and in this case, Green Bay does not win. Where are they at? They're up there. They are the 6th seed. If Green Bay wins, so it is not locked in. If Green Bay wins and the Rams lose to the Niners, the Rams drop to the 7th seed and Green Bay moves up to the 6th seed. Now, if the Rams win against the Niners, they are the 6th seed, and Green Bay is the 7th seed. So they do have a little bit to play for. So I think that's all we got for this. Don't you guys think?
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for our picks, the scenarios, what we think. And again, after this, we'll know the seedings for sure. Next week, we'll be able to totally roadmap. Based off seeding numbers, how the playoffs go. Just a lot of weird stuff going into this week. But I think that will take us to our college football segment of this episode where we had our last bowl games and we had the semifinals as well. First thing I want to talk about before we get to you, Roy, we did have our bowl game predictions. And yes, there is still one more bowl game, but the decision has been made. Bryce did win our bowl game going into the championship, which we're not even going to do. Bryce finished 26-16. Roy is in second, 3 games back. He missed it by 3, 23-19. And I finished 20-22. So me and Roy are going to have to take a cold plunge and post it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
That's okay. I'm going to win the NFL one, so you guys can have this one. But we'll go into first let's talk about the second game, Roy. I know you're ready to go. Just save it.
Oh, anything.
We're gonna rock with the second one first, okay? Texas and Washington down in New Orleans. Was it the Sugar Bowl, correct?
Yep, the Sugar Bowl.
Texas falls to Washington 37-31. Roy, I know you watched this game. I'll let you talk about what your takeaway were first.
I thought both teams battled really well. I was actually surprised how good Texas did against Washington. They got at them early. I mean, they got up in Washington, but they're right in the second half. About third quarter, I really thought Washington was going to run away with it. They got up 10 points. I thought it was over. I thought Washington's just going to run away with it. They were looking a lot better. Texas kind of stalled there in the third quarter. Wasn't looking that good, but man, they battled back, and Ewers was a lot better of a quarterback than I thought. He gave him a chance, and they had a chance to win it. I mean, the Texas actually defense showed up. I didn't think either one of their teams was a very good defensive team. They both made mistakes. They both got cute with stuff. That's what drove me nuts about Washington. The few games I haven't seen much Texas, but I've watched a lot of Washington. They get cute sometimes. You got the best quarterback in the country, in my opinion, Michael Penix Jr. I think he was the Heisman Trophy winner. I just think he was that good. But they get cute with other little gimmick plays. They overthink things when they get into these tie situations. But Washington, good for them. You know, the new Big Ten team is coming in. Yeah. It's going to be an all Big Ten team final now. But hey, Texas, hands off to Texas. They were a lot better than I thought they would be.
Right? What did you take away from this game?
Yeah, I just thought that Washington's offense impressed me a lot. I thought Texas defenses was going to be able to play a little better. You know, they're not an SEC team, but they're kind of in that area. So I thought that their defense was going to overpower Washington, but their offense just looked a lot better to me than what I thought they were going to be. And that putting up 37 points on them, I mean, that's pretty solid. And I think that they're looking good going into the Natty here soon.
Yeah, I was honestly disappointed in Texas defense, kind of like Bryce said. I've watched Texas a few times, and they've really had a good front seven. You know, their secondary was whatever, and playing Washington, that was going to be their strength, was trying to cover them. But Texas front seven, they still gave up 37 points. I mean, you shouldn't win a football game if you give up 37 anyway. But with that being said, that should just show you how good Michael Penix played. I mean, I've watched Michael Penix a little bit this year, but he played out of his mind. And I'll tell you what, that receiver, I don't know if I'm going to say his name correct, but it's like Oduza or something like that. He's
legit.
Clone. Yeah, he is a clone of what I thought CeeDee Lamb was coming out of college. Now, will he have that career? I'm not saying that. But he looks a lot like him. You can line him up anywhere, outside and inside, and he can win. He is definitely a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, in my opinion.
I saw people saying him over MHJ. Actually.
Yeah, he was legit. And it wasn't just him and Penix. That whole offense, they're creating separation. They were moving the ball all night long for the most part, other than when they shot themselves in the foot.
When you talk about Texas defense, though, you're talking about the Big 12 defense. Big 12 defenses have never been good. They're known to give up points. So if you guys are looking to try to get them, try to be a good defense, I was not looking for that as a good.
But this Texas front seven was a little different than most Big 12. They had some big boys, and I didn't think Washington was going to be able to run the football at all. I thought it would be a strictly pass game. And I thought if you got them to only strictly pass and be one-dimensional, that would help cover because you're not worrying about the run. They ran the ball just fine. I mean, they didn't run the ball a whole lot, but they ran just fine.
It's their gimmick. It's their scheme. Their scheme. Big 12 schemes are just everybody passes. Everybody throws the ball. They don't run the ball that much in the Big 12, and Texas has a big. They do have big guys. They're just not schemed right, and that they're going to have to change that when they go into the SEC next year.
Yeah, but it was a great game to watch. The end shouldn't even have got that close. An unfortunate injury that stopped the clock. I mean, man, if it would have just turned from that and Texas would have scored, I mean, you just got to feel sick for Washington. But I wanted Texas to win this game, but that whole last drive, I said, "Oh my God, do not score!" That would have just been terrible. But good for Washington; they played really well, and Texas, they're going to have a rude awakening going into that SEC next year with a gauntlet of a schedule they're going to have.
Yep.
All right, I think that's going to roll us into the Bama-Michigan game. Bama goes into Pasadena at the Rose Bowl and loses 20-27 in overtime. I'm going to let Bryce go first on this one. Roy, I'll save you for last.
All you want.
Yeah, I'll let you go last because you'll be able to give the full.
To me, this was a really tug of war style game, which I kind of thought it might have been with two amazing coaches going head to head. It seemed like one would pull and it looked like they were starting to take a lead, and then the other would score, and then they would start to take the lead, and momentum just kept shifting and shifting and shifting. I think that Michigan got lucky that the first play wasn't a turnover, because I think that would have set the tone for the entire game, but it wasn't in Michigan's favor. And then I think that Michigan had a few key turnovers that if they would have not had, like the muffed fumble or muffed punt, then Michigan probably would have rolled Alabama. But Alabama was capitalizing on turnovers. I mean, they had Nick Saban, their head coach. They couldn't pass the ball. All they did was run the quarterback all game. But it definitely looked like Michigan was the better team, in my opinion, even though Alabama had a great shot to win. Congrats to Michigan, I guess, for winning. But
yeah, first thing I took away from this game, just being a football fan, this was just a great game to watch. Start to finish, the emotions, it was awesome. Like Bryce said, I think Michigan survived the mistakes. I think their defense bailed them out a few times. I know they scored on the first, the punt fumble in the first quarter, but they survived the mistakes. They didn't let all the mistakes, pile up and cause any more problems. They didn't get away from the run game because of them, which was nice, even when they started to slip with the lead a little bit. One thing that I really thought helped Michigan, especially late when they need that fourth quarter drive at 2 minutes, is the experience. They've had that same group there the last 2 years or so. I think it really helped them to not, be nervous because McCarthy's done it. He's already had to do it before with Michigan. Against Illinois was one of them. I'm not going to talk about that. But just the experience that group has. Alabama didn't have that experience. They have a new quarterback. They have a lot of new receivers out there, which they train. They do that every year, so I'm not going to put a lot of stock. But experience helps, and he wasn't nervous going into that game. But with all that being said, this was Jalen Milroe's first season at a quarterback, and it's been mixed. He had no offensive line this entire season. Still didn't have one in this game, other than maybe a quarter. But I'll tell you what, when you get that ball in that guy's hands, he's electric. I mean, he was faster than everyone on that football field. And when he gets an offensive line and gets time, I think he's going to grow into be a really good quarterback, at least at the college level. But congrats to Michigan. Running the ball, I'll tell you what, running the ball, I don't care if it's college or football. You can run the football. It's going to help you win games. Michigan ran 2 plays, took 8-yard run and a 18-yard run for a touchdown in OT. And then they just got to stop late. But running the football can help. But I'll hand it off to Roy and let his biased feelings come out.
No biased feelings. I'll give you the honest fucking truth right here. Michigan got in their own fucking way is the problem the whole game.
Yeah.
They did not run the ball like they should have. They turned up. Their special teams was actually shit. I could not believe it. Haven't had a special team problem all year, and then you wait for this game to have a bad one. I agree. If that first play is an interception, it's a different ball game. But we overcame it. I really felt that Nick Saban had a very inexperienced team that Michigan exploited heavily. I mean, they missed direction. They did everything they could. Michigan's coaching staff is amazing. Mentor, Moore, even with as their assistants, they are just amazing. They think about it, what they need to do, and they execute. Michigan's good at executing what they need to do. The problem I had with Michigan was they got too cute, just like Washington, and start throwing these little flea flickers, trying to do these things. Just run the damn ball. I mean, Michigan has been great running the damn ball all year, and I felt like that defensive line of Alabama could not stop them, and we just never gave a chance to do it. We were running the ball there for this in the second quarter, doing play action passes, and we scored. And then we missed a damn extra point just because it's just what's going on with Michigan that game. But give hats off to Jim Harbaugh, the greatest college coach ever, the god. As a Wolverine fan, let me tell you, I was never more nervous than I was last night. Drinking plenty of whiskey to kind of calm the nerves. So, but hey, Yeah, I agree. Alabama is going to be good next year. I think Milroe is really good. I don't think he can pass the ball still. So maybe another year of trying to learn how to pass the ball. They did not have a line. Our Michigan's front seven, front eight, is just amazing. Rushing the pass. Our linebacker still got to come and make some plays on the run, which I was a little disappointed in. But hey, give it up to the Wolverines. This is our third year there. We had the experience, and we fucking finally did it. Go Blue!
Yeah. Good for them.
I don't know I don't think I told you this, but how he was saying he was really stressed out. His sister-in-law actually came to the house and was recording him pacing his living room through the window, just walking back and forth, slamming and stomping his feet. Looking like a big toddler in there.
Trust me.
Hey, it's called living with your team. Live and die with your team.
I completely agree with you, Roy. I understand. One thing, and it doesn't have to do with any of the teams, but just in general. Can we please just agree? Damn, that committee got it right. Holy cow.
No.
Florida State loses. I understand they didn't have half their players. They lost by 60. I don't want to hear that Georgia should have got in because, whatever.
Georgia should have been in.
Georgia's a top 4 team in the country, but I understood based off the resume that they didn't play anyone really until Alabama outside of the SEC schedule. But I wouldn't take anything away. Those 2 games were great. I'm glad the matchups were fine. I was great. And for the people saying Alabama shouldn't have got in, if Michigan's as good as they are and they're the number 1 team in the country, and Bama with no offense line took them to overtime, they deserve to be in.
So. No, these 4 teams played great. The committee got lucky that this was 2 really good games. Hey, as much as I don't like Kurt hit her whatever his name is, for him to say the Rose Bowl should hold the national championship every year, he's damn right. The Rose Bowl is amazing. It is an awesome place to watch a game, and I think that's where they should hold the national championship every fucking year.
I agree.
It seems like every time you have a playoff game there or a championship game, Texas and USC back in the day, there's a great game there, and just the atmosphere and everything, leave it there. That's awesome.
I agree.
Gosh, you and your editing clips out.
All right, that's going to take us to the national title game. Michigan's going to face Washington in Houston, I believe, NRG Stadium where the Texans play. I believe that's where it's at.
Yep, that's exactly where it's in our NRG Stadium. Yep. I guess that's where Texans play.
Yep, that's where the Texans play. All right, Bryce, give me your thoughts. What do you think? What are you looking for?
I'm taking Washington in this. I don't think Michigan's defense can handle that offense, and I don't think Michigan's offense is all that great compared. I don't think that they're going to be able to put up enough points up, and Washington's just going to outscore them.
All right. I'll go next. I'll go next because I know Roy's going to want to talk more. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to watch Washington's offense play Michigan's defense. There's no way I'm picking against Michigan in this one, even though I do think Michael Penix is the better quarterback due to systems, but I don't know if Washington's going to be able to stop Michigan's run game the entire night. That's really the thing that stands out for me. And Washington I know they're good, but they don't have the experience like Michigan does here, especially that 2-minute drive in the Rose Bowl, down 7. Had to have it. I'm going to have to take Michigan in this one.
Oh, easily. I think Washington can't stop the Michigan's running attack. And if you want to look back, Michigan has so much tape on Michael Penix Jr. So you got to remember, Michael Penix Jr. has played in Indiana for 4 years. Michigan saw him for 4 different years. Saw him every year, and they know exactly what he can do. And back then, he used to run a lot, and now he just throws the ball. So you can get pressure on him as long as we keep in our gaps, so we can get pressure on him. I think Michigan's defense, we can stop him and will stop him. I just think Washington's defense, their defense is not that good. It's been not very good. And their run defense has been actually pitiful for most of the year. So I think I don't have any doubt Michigan will win by 2 touchdowns. National champions right here, baby. Next week, you guys will be, you might as well just have Michigan stuff draped all over the place. It's going to be a Wolverine massacre. Way go blue.
It's only been, 100 years, so.
We won in 97.
Oh, well, close enough.
100 years.
All right, I think that's going to take us to our MLB section, which we don't have a lot to talk about, just a few. Actually, a little bit more news went down than I thought we were going to have during the dead week because this is the dead week of baseball, is Christmas to New Year's. Really has to do with the Boston Red Sox. Lucas Giolito signs a 2-year, $38 million deal with the Red Sox. And then we'll tag along with it. Chris Sale traded to the Braves for Vaughn Grisham, prospect shortstop, and $18 million from the Red Sox also go to the Braves to pay for most of the contract. Bryce, what are your takeaways from this trade? I know you don't know a whole lot about Chris Sale as much as me and Roy, but you still know who Chris Sale is.
I do know who Chris Sale is because he's one of my favorite pitchers in the show. I mean, the Braves are just stacking, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I mean, we saw them not win a single playoff game last year after being the best team in the league all year long. Maybe adding another pitcher like Chris Sale into the mix adds to them to where they're not giving up points and stuff, and they can outscore like they like to. I like the Braves personally. I like their culture that they have there and the young talent that they have. So to me, I want to see the Braves do good, just not at the expense of the Cubs.
Roy, what do you got from this trade?
Well, I mean, it's a high risk, high reward. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Because Sale's been injured, I think, for the last 5 years. We haven't seen much out of him. He's had injuries after injury, all different kinds. He's not the pitcher he used to be. I mean, he was dominant when he was a White Sox and everything. He used to be amazing. He's just not that anymore. If you can get him to pitch some innings for you and just eat up innings, because I don't think he's that high strikeout guy anymore. At least the last few years, he has not been. If you can just at least get 20 starts at him, I think you've got a good pitcher that will at least try to keep you. He's a competitor, so I think he'll try to keep you in the game. Yeah. But I mean, they didn't really. I mean, the Braves didn't. I mean, he gave up a prospect. That's great. You just gave a back end guy that's going to hopefully eat some innings for you. That's about it.
Yeah. What about the signing for Lucas Giolito? 2 years, 38.
Yeah,
what do you think, Roy?
I thought that was a good sign. I mean, I think he's a good young pitcher. I think he's got the stuff. I mean, he's not overpowering like some of these other guys. That's why the Yankees will never go for him, because he doesn't overpower you with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But, the Red Sox, they need pitching. This is somebody they can jump in there. So it'll help the Red Sox. But I mean, I don't know if that's going to make them any better than what they were last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The signing for Giolito, 2 years, 38. It's 2 years. I really don't care how much you pay someone, guy. It's 2 years, and you're really not competitive right now in that division. So I don't really mind the deal. Who knows? He could be really good for you, or he could just be really bad. Who cares? It's 2 years. The Sale trade, I was confused by the Sale trade. I actually think the Red Sox got a good deal out of this. Chris Sale is, like you said, he's not pitched. He's been injured almost every year for the last 3 or 4. And Vaughn Grisham, that's who the Braves. That's why they let Dansby Swanson walk. He was going to be the guy last year, and he struggled the first 2 months, and then they let Orlando Arcia take over, and he had a career year. Yeah. So and at that point they said, we don't have any spot or any room for you, Vaughn. But to get Chris Sale, I mean, I guess I get it from the Braves' perspective. You're really going for it now at this point, but they're not going all in by any means. They still have their core locked up, and they don't have anywhere for Vaughn Grisham, but I think Boston did fine. I mean, Chris Sale isn't doing anything for you anyway, and now you get a good shortstop prospect who is looked to be the heir apparent to Dansby Swanson in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I like the deal for the Red Sox, unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say. And then the other deal, which we'll move on to, Frankie Montez, who the Yankees traded for, signs a 1 year, I think it was 18 million, 15 million. It was something in that range to go to the Reds. Roy, you have anything to say before I explode here? Because I'm going to explode here in a second.
No, I have nothing. I mean, this sounds like something the Reds would do. Take what somebody the Yankees had and just let him play be on their roster. Montez I thought when he was at Oakland A, he was great, but we know the Yankees never got to see what that was. So it's just a typical Yankee deal. You trade for somebody, he gets hurt. You trade for somebody who's hurt, he gets hurt, and then you never see him, and then they let him go. It's a Cashman trade, a Cashman deal. I'm used to it by now. So, what is there to say about it?
Bryce, what do you want?
I mean, he probably just signed the 1 year to try and regrow his brand, kind of like what Cody Bellinger did with the Cubs this year. I think the Reds are probably the best place to do it right now. I mean, they have a young team who's looking like they're going to be a future team. Maybe he resigns next year if they kind of start looking like a team for the future, but I'll let you explode on him.
Yeah, the Reds going to the Reds on a 1 year. I think it's great. That was a young team that was prized to make the playoffs. They kind of slowed down there at the end. But this is no risk, high reward. He could go out there and throw you a Cy Young. I mean, he was a Cy Young candidate for Oakland for 2 years straight. We saw Frankie Montes pitch for the Yankees for 18 innings. We gave up our best pitching prospect that I'd seen in a long time before the last year or so. Now they've had better ones. And Ken Waldachuk, 18 innings. And you traded your best pitching prospect, and then you don't even re-sign him on a one-year deal. Well, I don't know. I was surprised to see that he got so much, but, it's a one-year deal. Who cares? Right now, the Yankees don't have a fifth starter at all. They don't have one. You're talking double-A pitchers at this point. And there's big fish out there still. I'm not saying they're out, but I don't know. This was always their blanket to me at the back end of the rotation because he didn't pitch last year at all, except for 1 inning. He pitched 1 inning last year, last game of the season. And just to let him walk, and I don't know, just fuck Brian Cashman outside of the Juan Soto trade. That's all I got to say.
Well, fuck him. Cashman's just a joke. He doesn't know what he's doing. He needs to fucking do something else.
All right, and that's going to take us to our picks that we had. Again, we're not going to add any. We can change any if you guys would like. Roy, is there anything you want to change that you've seen, or are you still locked in with your guys?
I'm going to change Bellinger to the Cubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had him going to the Yankees, Roy. You don't think the Yankees get him anymore? Or did you think the Cubs are –
I honestly think the Yankees are done. I think they're going to try to wait till the middle of the season and try to do these cheap deals like they always do. And I think it's I don't think they're going to do anything. I think the Bellinger market is down now. I don't think anybody wants to give him anything. And so I think he's willing to go to the Cubs for a cheaper deal.
Okay.
Bring the belly bomb back to Wrigley. That's what I want to see.
It won't help the Cubs any. They'll still suck. So what's the matter?
Is there any other things that you want to change, Roy? You have Snell to the Giants, Bellinger to the Cubs, Monty to Texas, Chapman to the Blue Jays, Hader to the Dodgers, Soler to the Blue Jays, and Marcus Stroman to the Giants.
Nope, I'll leave everything else.
Bryce, you can see my screen, so I don't have to tell you.
Yeah, I don't think I want to change anything.
Don't want to change anything. I am going to trade one, and I was right on, just not the right player. Braves go out and get Chris Sale, lefty starter. I had them going to get Blake Snell. I think the Braves are probably out on Snell. But I'm going to change mine and agree with you, Roy. I think he's going to be a San Francisco Giant now. I think they're starting to miss on a few of their guys that they've been looking for. And I think the Giants are tired of waiting to spend their big money. I also could see Cody Bellinger going to the Giants as well, but they signed that guy from Japan. So I think maybe if they're going to spend the big money, they might go in the Snell direction. But I agree with you. I think he's going to be a Giant.
I would trade that Monty will go to Yankees, but I just don't know if that's – I don't think he wants to come there. And I think the Yankees are down to him, and that's it. And I don't think he's pissed that they traded him. And I think he's willing to take a deal anywhere else besides the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one for me, but I think the Yankees are still going to add a pitcher. I just don't know who. So I'm going to roll with Monty for now, but I really want the Yankees to sign Josh Hader. I really, really do.
Hey, that's what everybody's saying right now is the haters coming, and I still don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know if I really bought much belief into it, but that can change. I think that's going to take us to our miscellaneous segment where we don't really have anything this week because it was a week of family and holidays. Yeah. So I think we're just going to roll into Josh's advice, Bryce's facts, and Roy's old man wisdom. And Roy, I'm going to hit you with one right here. Now, I know I picked Michigan to win, but my advice is Michigan, do not let Michael Penix get hot and do not let them get up early because Michael Penix will let that thing fly. And I also think Washington knows they're the underdog in this game. They got nothing to lose. They're not supposed to win this game. So I think they're going to, pull out, like you said, Roy, some of them trick plays and get fancy. Just don't let Michael Penix cook. But I don't think he will, but that's my advice.
All right, Bryce facts for the week. The first one I have is something I didn't know. It's that NFL refs also receive a Super Bowl ring for reffing the game. So I thought that was kind of neat.
I knew that one.
The second thing, I did know this because it was this past World Cup, the one that was held in Qatar. It was held in the city Lusail, and that city did not exist until they were picked to host the World Cup. They literally built an entire city, not just the stadium, for the World Cup. And it was really weird because I was there while they were building it. And it was this entire massive city that you would see that's brand new and nobody's in it because it wasn't like naturally built. It was just buildings just put there and hoping people would come. So it's like the world's biggest super project ever. And then the last thing I'm hoping you guys probably know this as Yankees fans is Babe Ruth wore a cabbage leaf under his cap for good luck and to keep cool, and he reportedly changed it every 2 innings.
I did know that.
I did hear that somewhere.
As
All right.
Yankees fans, I would hope you guys knew that. But
Just do that. So, all right. To me, mine's a personal old man advice: be a victor. Those who are champion or those who stay will be champions. Go blue. That's all you need to know.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. All right.
Just enjoy the national championship and the Wolverines being there, man.
All right. Well, we're going to know who's the national champion because national champion's on Monday, not Saturday or anything. And then we'll kick off next week. Hopefully some MLB deals start going down. This is usually about the time where things start to pick up. Some of those bigger fish are off the market, so hopefully we can start getting some action. NFL will really be able to dive deep next week, starting with the playoffs, matchups and stuff. So next week should be a good episode.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit the like button, comment. Look at our TikToks. We got some nice TikTok videos coming out. So that's all we got.
Yep.
All right. Peace. Thank you.
Peace.
All right.